now, what we did very well in Q2, and how we're launching off Q3 pretty strong with ViewSonic. So Jeff, I'm going to share my screen here and kind of show you a little bit about what we are doing. So let me go over here to myViewBoard. So I have our myViewBoard software up here, and what I'm going to be talking about is, let's see here, hide this guy. All right, that's in the tools. All right, virtual learning in 2020, what we're learning so far. Teachers are going to want to teach where they live. And this is what my team is all about right now. We're not showing them new collaborative tools. We're not showing them, really fancy features. We're getting back to the function of what digital whiteboarding is. We know right now that a teacher is going to be leaving the classroom where they have, a 16-foot whiteboard in most cases that they write on, put their pieces of flair on it. And they don't have it anymore. They're going home. They need a place to write. And what we're providing them is now a digital version of that whiteboard. We're going to keep it simple with the pen tools at the bottom. So if you notice down there, the pen tools, when I click on it, it's just like a dry erase. It has a black marker, a red marker, and a blue marker that they can quickly pick up and go very quickly. So we're trying to think like they would use a whiteboard. So we know that they live in 2 content platforms. We're not trying to move them off content either. They're either a G Suite district or an Office 365 district. So one of the things we want to do is we understand with our software that, this is where teachers live. They might even do something as simple as hit a Windows toggle down here at the bottom, and you can see I've got a G Suite document open. My pen tools follow me here, and they can write and model. But that may be where they live and all that they need. But we want to give them those tools based on where they live inside of both of those 2 content platforms. Virtual conference. We started out with Classroom as a way to compete and potentially have a video conferencing platform. No, we're not doing that. We're gonna stick with what we know and what teachers know here in the United States education market, and that is TMZ, Teams, Meet, and Zoom, right? I put it that way for my team because I know some of my guys like to look at the, what's going on in the Hollywood world. But hey, TMZ, Teams, Meet, Zoom, that's what they've been trained on. That's what they know. And as you can see, we're using Zoom right now, and myViewBoard works awesome on it. They don't have to learn anything new. They just launch their meeting, share their screen, and they're off with a digital whiteboard. So how do we move them from a dry erase board to a digital whiteboard? Okay, that's what my team is going to see. So I've got 2 of my team members on the call today. They're going to see this on Monday, so they're going to get a sneak peek. But how do we move them? Well, we know that the benefits of a whiteboard in the classroom is increased student engagement. Okay, it allows for quick assessment. So teacher can put a question up on the board, students can answer it. Quick and unplanned activities. You can have students come up to a board and work on projects. And it's also easy to erase mistakes. Considerations on a whiteboard, you got to have markers, erasers. Do you have your own personal supplies? You have group supplies. You got to make sure you erase when everything's completed or to stain the board. You got short-term and limited space a lot of time for some of these pieces. They can't move them. Most dry erase boards are fixed. You got to have a marker backup plan. When the marker goes dry, you got to be able to go grab one real quick. And then you got to think about cost of consumables, right? So then we move them to digital, which if you notice down here at the bottom, I'll put it down again. You got a black pen, red pen, and a blue pen. Benefits of a digital whiteboard is the same as a regular dry erase board, right? We've got student engagement because we can write and we can share. So how do we do that? I can actually ask a student to share their content, and they can actually be in class or out of class. They can cast to my board. They can actually throw to my board. They can throw content there. If I want to do quick assessment, I actually have built in here, I have the ability to poll and quiz my students. But unlike a dry erase board where I might have to take a picture of what I asked and see if the students got it, I can actually, in this assessment, download all the students' answers into an Excel worksheet and then put that in my LMS at a later time. So we give them some real-time data based on what they put up there for that quick assessment. Unplanned activities, you can do that with myViewBoard. You can do it with Classroom as well. You can put embedded websites that allow students to play and learn on their own based on, you know, where they are in class or out of class, or maybe they're in a gymnasium because you've got to get social distance. In erase mistakes, it's pretty easy. If I don't want something on there, I use the palm of my hand and I can erase it. So we're taking it back to a simple way of teaching teachers that this technology, myViewBoard, doesn't matter what they put it on. They can actually put it on their laptop at home that has a touch screen. They can put it on a competitor board, I don't care, and it will be easy for them to use, but it's portable and they can take it with them. Right? It's just a software package. So let's look at Windows, what I'm using now and why we always recommend this one first. One, most teachers are issued a Windows device. There's platform compatibility with our myViewBoard software. So as we look at this hybrid learning environment, we know teachers are comfortable with Word and PowerPoint. Those are pretty common platforms. We use them in business and they use them in education. They're pretty familiar with, up here, they're pretty familiar with slides and Google Docs, right? So those two are the most common students are going to be content sharing with. But what if that teacher has a smart or Promethean board in the classroom, right? What you may not know is our myViewBoard software will read those files natively, so that school doesn't have to worry about having a license for a new laptop that they're going to send a teacher home with. They can send them home with myViewBoard and they'll be able to open their smart and Promethean lessons and continue teaching their class remotely. All right, so it's our most popular format. There's a couple other things that it does very well in this hybrid environment. If I want to, I can record. One of the things that we bring out is recording, right? So screen record here. If I click record, it's going to give me the option. Now, most students, I will tell you, have limited bandwidth. I know here in DeKalb County in Georgia, about 30% of the students don't have reliable internet. So if I were a teacher that was going to send a lesson, I would probably leave it in the default 720p, record everything that I'm doing on the screen, including my audio and video, and then I can send that as a supplement to my lesson that I want them to complete at home. So I have the ability to record in and up to 4K. For those of you that haven't followed Jeff Erb and his Bird is the Word series, which is always kind of fun to watch, we have the ability with this button here, this guy, let's see if I can make my pen go to it, that one will allow us to live stream to popular social sites like Workplace or Facebook or YouTube. So if the school has a professional studio set up, and that's something as a sales rep that I would probably talk about, was how do I set up an environment that lets you live stream your lessons that you're recording for your students and put it on a platform that's easy for them to get to, like a private YouTube channel. We give you the ability to do that inside of our software.
Does anybody have a question so far for Jason? I want this to become interactive.
Yes. Actually, I was stopping to ask a question at this point.
Oh,
that's the first part of this. All right. So there's another platform that you guys have probably heard from Jeff called Classroom. Now, this one was built because we know back in March, COVID hit, and I would probably say you guys went on a land grab for just about every laptop, MacBook, or Chromebook that was in the market. I think that's safe to say. Because not everybody now has a Windows device and schools are going into kind of a hybrid PC arena. Classroom was built to be browser-based. So it supports the Chromium browser platforms, so Edge and Chrome it supports. We support all three. So if you're a Mac user, there's not a lot of options for a digital whiteboard for Mac. Mac we know does not support touch, so we have some options for that too to help. But I would push people to our classroom because, again, we have the simplicity of the whiteboard built right into it. From a IT perspective, there's no software to install with Classroom. So as soon as we enroll a district as an entity, everybody in the school district gets this for free. We give it away, right? Just don't feel we need to charge for it because we know teachers are just struggling to have something to transition to. Updates are automatic, so unlike Windows, where every month, first Tuesday, there's an update that happens, this is all done in the background and they never see it. The security is there because we do everything through Amazon Web Services, so there's 256-bit encryption of your data as it passes over the internet. And then we support the common EDU files of Google Slides, PDFs, which are very common in education, JPEGs, and YouTube. There will be support coming for the Windows platforms inside of Classroom, and we look forward to having something like that for Q1 of next year. We built it. Its purpose is really for both in-class and at-home learning. The other thing that we have designed it for is we want the districts to allow students to have Classroom. And I'll show you why we want them to have it. So I'm going to go in here to the Windows toggle. And let's go into Classroom. So as you can see here, Classroom looks very similar to myViewBoard. The pen tools look identical. So our goal is once you learn one, you'll be able to transition to either or very easily because we have some familiar icons for the pens and the shapes and the eraser. But what we've done is if you take this, let's see here. All right, I got the color I want. These two buttons right there are the two of the most important in Classroom. It's not about collaboration, sharing, and huddle. Again, we want to keep this simple. We're moving somebody to a digital whiteboard. That right there, for a teacher that's issued a Chromebook, allows them to hit that record button. And once they hit it, they can record their entire screen, which means once they hit record, anything they're doing on the desktop, it's going to record. It's going to capture audio from their camera or from their built-in mic on their PC. They can go in and do just an application window. So maybe it is PowerPoint or maybe it is Google Slides that they want to do. So they can do it right there. Or they can just screen capture and record a Chrome tab. So they have the ability using standard RTC from Chrome, the ability to grab, share, record content in various formats. It does give you 60 minutes of recording at 720p. So it keeps the file very small and easily portable. Questions and comments so far?
I have a question, Jason.
Yes.
So right now we're viewing this demo on Zoom, and you're showing us myViewBoard and Classroom over the web.
Yes.
You're accessing it via the web. Is this, can I almost pick, like, is this almost a classroom setting where the students, you're the teacher right now?
This is exactly what my 13-year-old daughter is going to see on August 17th.
So all I need is some type of camera, webcam on the laptop or a Chromebook and or an external, and you can pick me up with my audio and my my video. And if I was if I'm a teacher and my students are 100% at home, everyone's on the web, they're accessing this. How do you see it in a hybrid scenario where there's some students in classroom? So, I guess like interaction with the students.
So it's interesting you bring that up because I'm actually before this call we were talking about doing some videos on how we give 3 types of scenarios. The hybrid is one of them, where you're going to have, like, my daughter's school after 9 weeks is going to go to an AD schedule where you have 15 kids in the class one day, 15 another day. That 15, one's always going to be at home. So what we're looking at is showing some vignettes where we say, okay, now you're going to need a webcam that's on a tripod.